Today on Callout, Nelson's search and rescue raced to the scene of a devastating avalanche that reportedly buried 200 snowmobilers.
Digging up one body's one thing. Digging up 50 or 100, how do you prepare for that?
Saturday, 4:16 p.m. Nelson's search and rescue were called out to the site of a major incident.
The report is 200 people buried in an avalanche. Seems a bit extreme, but that's what we got. So we're throwing everything together right now in helicopters and getting over there as fast as we can.
A devastating avalanche has struck just outside the city of Revelstoke, reportedly burying 200 people in its deadly path.
When you hear 200 people buried in an avalanche, it doesn't compute. You just don't believe it. It took a long time to wrap my head around it.
In the face of such a large-scale event, teams from all over the region are coming to help. A total of 5 qualified members from Nelson are joining the rescue mission, including Randy Lall and Chris Armstrong, who are in the second of 2 helicopters heading to Revelstoke.
So have we talked to anybody in Revelstoke yet? I've got nothing at all.
There is one question on everyone's mind. How did 200 people get caught in a single slide? With so little information, the team tries to come up with a logical explanation.
You know, outside of a highway accident or an avalanche control issue with a lineup of cars or something like that. I mean, I can't think of anything that would cause this.
Whatever the reason or cause, it's a hard pill to swallow.
It really started to sink a bit, thinking digging up one body's one thing. Digging up 50 or 100, how do you prepare for that?
5:28 p.m. The team arrives in Revelstoke and learns from Starbase that a number of injured have been airlifted from the mountain.
Looks like the last loads are coming in at this time, and information from the airport was that all general public there were transported to the hospital for name tracking. Roger that.
We're hearing on the radio right now that it's actually Snoworama, an event, hill climb, what have you, snowmobilers. Lots of people out running around, and they've had a major event. So we're just gonna wait till we get picked up here. We'll get briefed properly at Starbase, and we'll go from there. It's a big one.
The event in question is the Big Iron Shootout, which takes place every year on Boulder Mountain, a favorite destination among snowmobilers just 2 kilometers west of Revelstoke. In Canada, snowmobiling is an increasingly popular winter sport, with over 700,000 sleds currently registered nationwide. Most recreational snowmobilers ride groomed trails and relatively flat backcountry terrain. The more adventurous ones practice hill climbing, an extreme maneuver in which the goal is to reach the peak by riding, sometimes almost vertically, up the side of a mountain. But snowmobiling in the backcountry is a risky activity, and it can easily trigger avalanches in unstable areas. Across North America, snowmobiles cause on average 200 deaths and 14,000 injuries each year, and are the leading cause of avalanche deaths. For now, the number of casualties resulting from today's avalanche remains unknown.
The worst thing about this is that because it's kind of a free-for-all, there's no organized event in the sense that they don't know how many were there, how many come out, how many people have been hit, how many people haven't. It's going to be quite a big deal to sort it all out.
There isn't much that search and rescue teams can do until morning, but the RCMP will spend the night canvassing hotels in the area, trying to identify any missing persons and piecing together what happened from eyewitness accounts. As reported, hundreds of people of all ages had gathered at the foot of Boulder Mountain earlier that day for the Big Iron Shootout, an annual snowmobile drag racing competition.
In the morning we got there at probably about 6 in the lineup. That was kilometers and kilometers long, and we just rode up. I was a spectator with most of the guys up there.
After the event was done, about 200 snowmobilers moved to nearby Turbo Bowl to watch a small group of daredevils take on the steep slopes of Turbo Hill.
We've just been watching people on their modded turboed sleds just seeing how far they could climb.
The challenge is to reach the top of a very steep mountain or leave the highest mark, a practice known as high marking.
What we were watching and what some of these machines were doing was kind of mind-boggling, and that's probably what attracted us to go watch more of it.
Despite avalanche warnings issued that morning, many chose to park right near the base of the hill, the least safe spot in Turbo Bowl.
You always feel safe in numbers. Everybody else is there. It must be a good spot to sit.
2:45 p.m. As the crowd settled in to watch the informal competition, some began questioning the stability of the snow.
When we came into the area, I felt a little uneasy about the way the terrain looked. So we kind of parked facing outward, so it was really easy for us to get out of the area.
We were there maybe 7-8 minutes, sitting right in the middle of the crowd, and I was with my 4 buddies, and we kind of thought, you know, this doesn't look good. Let's head out of here early, beat everybody down, shower up, go out for the night. And I was just putting my pack on. Out of the corner of my eye, I seen the cornice break and the mountain fracture, and I just ran back to my sled.
The fracture, triggered by high marking, was captured on video by spectator Kevin Tandy.
It was the first guy I started filming, and he was just about made it to the top, went to do a turn, and the avalanche came down.
I wasn't too worried at first, and then I realized this thing's really picking up speed and gathering more snow, and it created such a huge head. Snow was spitting out the bottom. We realized it's time to get out of here.
Within a matter of seconds, everyone had revved up their machines and was racing towards the trees for shelter.
You could hear people screaming, sleds starting, sleds crashing into sleds. And then the snow, you could hear the thunder of the snow coming down.
Unleashed from the top of the mountain, the avalanche had picked up both speed and mass, and a wall of snow came crashing down on the crowd.
Just as I came to a stop in a tree wall, I looked back and I saw it just engulf the rest of the group that was back at the bottom of the hill.
I actually wasn't hit by the avalanche, but the sheer wind pushed me off into the tree, and I believe, if I remember correctly, I missed the slide path by 10 feet.
Others weren't so lucky.
This slide hit us in a matter of seconds, and it hit with such a force, like it blew the gloves, my helmet, it blew my pack open. It was like incredible impact, and I went under.
It was dark and there was snow packed everywhere. Like I remember I couldn't even close my hand to make a fist. But I couldn't feel which way was up, which way was down.
Fortunately, both men had one arm sticking out of the snow and were able to dig themselves out. What they saw once at the surface was a horrifying scene.
I looked around where there was hundreds of people, and now there was none, just carnage. There was so many people missing and so much going on. I was just in utter daze, like a shock.
All I could think about was where everybody else was, because now I knew I could breathe, but then I was panicking about everybody else, so.
Despite the shock and confusion, everyone instantly leaped into action.
There was already a guy organizing people. He was telling people to turn their beacons to search.
Just start probing. Let a guy go with the peeps.
It was like organized chaos almost. Everyone kind of just looked at each other, grabbed shovels, grabbed probes, turned their beacons to search, and went to work.
Even the injured stepped in and helped as best they could.
I got back up, knew something was wrong with my shoulder right away. Got the shovel out, my probe out, handed it to the next guy that didn't have one. So here, use this. Use the shovel and probe. I'm gonna start with this peep search and help the guys with that.
Individuals with probes immediately spread out in a line across Turbo Bowl, jabbing the snow to feel for buried victims. Whenever their transceivers, also referred to as peeps, detected a signal, they would focus the probing in that one spot until they hit something. Then start digging.
I glanced back to where I just come from, and I realized I seen a hand there. I was digging in the front of his chest, and I hit something, and it was a boot. It was a small child's boot, and it moved. I just, like that was amazing. Like it was a good feeling, but a bad feeling. What else is down there?
The boy and the man both survived. Many others also owe their lives to the quick actions of their peers.
I was helping dig a guy out. He had some sleds on him and he had collapsed on the left side. He was having a hard time breathing. So as they were moving stuff off of him, I actually laid under him to help keep everything aligned and so he could breathe easier.
But it wasn't long before an unresponsive casualty was found.
In a matter of 5 minutes, we had found one guy with a probe, and we all started digging as fast as we could, and we ended up getting him out in about 10 minutes, but he was deceased when we pulled him out.
I was checking for pulse, noticed he had a wedding ring. I mean, you immediately think, this guy's married, you know, does he have kids? You just do whatever you can for him.
MEAGAN and KRISTEN, both trained in first aid, kept their emotions in check and focused on giving the subject CPR.
The adrenaline was definitely pumping. There's people telling us to stop, but you can't stop. I can't anyways. His friends were there. I couldn't just give up, and I didn't want to give up.
3:50 p.m. Help from the outside began arriving.
It took probably about an hour before any helicopters to arrive on scene. We loaded him into the helicopter. We continued doing CPR until we got to the tarmac and a paramedic told us to stop.
The man was pronounced deceased. Helicopters continued to evacuate the many injured and stranded snowmobilers off Boulder Mountain. Survivors who were able to ride their sleds were told to leave the area due to the potential for more avalanches.
I just kind of sat back on my knees and some tears, some emotion. It was just beyond belief how many people come out of that in such good shape. Like it's just, it's unbelievable.
Everybody pretty much held it together to do what they had to do. The rest of my team, when I saw them back at the hotel, everyone was just sore, exhausted, shock pretty much. Just everybody was still in shock.
Sunday, 9:02 a.m.
So we're at Selkirk Mountain Helicopters right now. This is a staging area for most of the aircraft that'll be flying into the site. There's teams here from Revelstoke and Nelson at the moment. Other teams are already up. Other teams are coming in.
Joining the SAR teams on this massive search and recovery effort are Avalanche dog teams and qualified individuals from Parks Canada, the Canadian Avalanche Association, as well as from various local resorts and heli-skiing companies. Although there hasn't been any missing person reports since the incident, the police still cannot confirm that everyone at the event has been accounted for. But one thing is certain, the avalanche did not bury 200 victims as initially rumored. From the air, the snow-covered peak of Boulder Mountain looks peaceful, but a closer look shows otherwise.
You know, I didn't think much of it until we landed. I got out, we unloaded the crew, kind of settled into our gear cache, and then I had a real good look around. And that's when I realized that all that stuff out there when we flew in wasn't trees sticking out of the snow. It was backpacks, helmets, gloves, pieces of sleds. It seemed unimaginable that you wouldn't find somebody left behind.
Several search crews from Parks Canada are already on site, combing the area with a RECO detector, which is capable of picking up signals from electronic chips.
It reflects off of a chip that may be in a person's clothing, and it gets a signal that tells you whether there's a piece of equipment, the buried sled, a RECO chip in clothing, anything like that.
The initial morning search has so far uncovered one victim. The death toll now stands at 2.
All this ridge line here is what is released. And this has all come down to this point.
The scale is impressive. The deposit in the runout zone, where the debris is collected, spans 140 meters across and 500 meters lengthwise. over an area roughly the size of 11 football fields. The depth of the deposit is anywhere from 2.5 meters to an astounding 5 meters.
Now that we're here, our team is going to be matched up with dog handlers and some of the other folks who have been on the site for a while.
The idea is to get the dogs on the site, get them to search the whole area. We would stand back at the sidelines with shovel and probes. If they had any indication, they would mark the area with small flags. We would come in with the probes, probe the whole area around the flags where they had indication, and if need be, start digging.
Using avalanche dogs is the fastest way to locate a subject who is not carrying a transceiver. These specially trained dogs can easily locate human scent pools under 2 to 4 meters of compact snow. Before long, the dogs pick up a scent in several spots.
Dog sensed something here, and so we're doing a 3-meter diameter circle around it to see if there's actually anything buried here.
1:30 p.m. The digs so far have not uncovered any human remains, only buried snowmobiles and other debris.
Lots of debris, all kinds of things spread around is making it very difficult for dog searching, but that dog's just trying to cover off any likely areas at this point in time.
The avalanche dogs cannot distinguish between a buried object carrying human scent, such as a helmet, and an actual buried victim. Anything with human scent has to therefore be cleared from the site.
We've got the manpower here to dig it out. The more machinery we can get to the surface, the more we get off of the debris, the better for the dogs to work and do a final pass, and we can be feeling really comfortable that there's nothing in there that is of human nature.
Teams are just going onto the debris field and they're removing everything that's movable by hand. Everything else is being flown up by the helicopter, one after the other.
They have a special sling set up for these sleds, so the 2 hit the skis, 1 hits the rear, all comes into a focal point on the long line.
One by one, the sleds are cleared off the mountain. It's a strenuous and time-consuming process. The machines are brought to a helicopter hangar nearby, where they are individually tagged by the RCMP. The public will eventually be allowed to come and claim their damaged sleds. The RCMP is also collecting data on the depth and GPS locations of each recovery hole, then marking them with spray paint so they can be visible from the air. The aerial photographs and any other documentation or evidence found at the scene will provide crucial information to the RCMP and BC Coroner Service investigations. 2:45 p.m. It has now been 24 hours since the avalanche was unleashed on this mountain, and the outlook is a little less grim.
The RCMP told us that everyone had been accounted for and that there wasn't anyone missing at that time. There was a lot of people from down to the States, from out east, so there was a chance that someone could still be out there. But at that point, they were pretty confident that everyone was accounted for.
Despite this, the teams will do their due diligence and continue to sweep the area over the next few days. Avalanche experts are now classifying this incident as a size 3 avalanche, an avalanche powerful enough to destroy a small building. During the week leading up to this incident, the Canadian Avalanche Centre had issued a warning that the risk of an avalanche in the Alpine was high, a 4 out of 5 on the danger scale, and that human-triggered avalanches were likely. The warning had effectively dissuaded hundreds of snowmobiling fans from coming to this event.
I think the biggest mistake myself and everyone made was the fact that we knew the avalanche potential was there, but we probably ignored the possibility of how fast it would come. We should have been sitting well off the slide path.
I'm usually pretty safe in the backcountry, but I think I was caught up in the awe of watching what was going on and wasn't paying attention to what I should have been paying attention to.
Tragically, 2 people were killed on Boulder Mountain, and 31 others were hospitalized. But given that there were 200 people on the mountain, the outcome could have been much worse.
Seeing all that debris, all that carnage, it's a miracle that only 2 people were killed.
What would have been one of the worst avalanche accidents in Canadian history was narrowly averted thanks to the quick response of many rescue-ready snowmobilers.
After that slide happened, whether they should have been there or not, all those people got together and they took care of business. Who knows how many people could have been killed if they didn't react the way they did. We didn't do a rescue on this call. We were just doing cleanup. The real rescue was done by them.
Callout Search and Rescue features real stories filmed live by search and rescue teams during actual missions. Find out more at calloutsar.tv.